If you've recently discovered Falling Frontier and you're as excited as I've been for the last couple of years and you're looking to know a little bit more beyond the trailers, this is the video for you. Falling Frontier is a high-fidelity, large-scale, hard sci-fi, real-time space strategy game on a mostly 2D plane. The game mixes stunning space naval combat with the grand scale of building, research, and managing the logistics of your navy and the economy of your empire throughout a large, detailed star system that can take hours for your units to traverse at sublight speeds. The game features visceral physics-based combat systems with projectiles bouncing off or penetrating ships' armor, environmental and unit collisions, internal ship damage and decompressions, mid- and post-battle escape pod rescue and retrieval, and beautiful-looking explosions. All resources in Falling Frontier are physicalized, so resources such as fuel, food, and munitions must be transported by mining vessels and supply ships to where they are most needed. Falling Frontier features a seamless blend of classic RTS mechanics with additions from the 4X genre of games, with a heavy emphasis on intelligence gathering and line-of-sight mechanics. Hide your stations behind celestial bodies or your ships within asteroid fields. Customize the ships in your fleet to suit their purpose by managing ship components, upgrades, crewmen, and officers, providing your ship with new skills and capabilities. In the wake of an epic battle, capture and interrogate enemy crew hiding in escape pods, or rescue your own to prevent them from suffering the same fate. Yes, Falling Frontier is another very promising title being developed almost entirely solo by Todd Darcy under Stutter Studios, and has been in development for close to 5 years now. My hype for Falling Frontier has been smouldering for quite some time now, and it looks like we might still be on track for a sometime in 2023 release, though a delay to 2024 is entirely possible. So, let's shine a little more light on what makes Falling Frontier so exciting, and let's break down some of this information. What you're seeing is the latest combat showcase from Stutter Studios, where they have completely reworked some of the effects while adding some new ones, such as slow motion during tactical orders and a first look at missiles and countermeasures being fired from the new and improved Hanno destroyer-class vessel. It's important to note munitions and ordnance in Falling Frontier are physicalized. Trajectory, weapon speed, and line of sight are important factors when it comes to microing these naval-style engagements. With the ability to outfit your ships how you see fit, you'll need to build synergy between weapon loadouts, ship chassis, components, and fleet compositions while commanding them accordingly to win engagements. With turret turn speeds playing a role in time on target and the ability for ships to duke enemy shots using the environment and other vessels, timing and positioning play a large role in success. Range of engagements will affect damage and armor penetration, with shots missing, ricocheting off armor, or penetrating at certain ranges and caliber. Todd has elected to include sprinklings of delicious RNG to spice up engagements too, with chances of direct fuel storage or ammo cache hits proving catastrophic for ships on the receiving end, making unwinnable engagements potentially winnable should you attack from the right angle or get very lucky with your hits. Catastrophic loss of a ship isn't the end, however. As previously mentioned, you'll be able to recover crew who manage to escape their ship's fate, or capture enemy crew to interrogate them and receive information on enemy ships, crew, or station positions. Alternatively, you'll be able to salvage damaged vessels and bring them back to a shipyard with adequate resources to refit and repair them for future service. No navy can sustain itself without an influx of fresh meat, so it'll be your job to expand your colonies across planets and moons, increasing the population and producing willing citizens to sign up for military service. Citizens are produced on colonies which are established by sending colonization ships planetside or conquering them with orbital bombardments and planetside battalions, which are represented by stylized planetary graphics and audio cues. Citizens produce income in the form of a digital currency via taxes, but the more citizens in active duty aboard ships and stations, the less they pay in taxes due to hazard pay tax cuts, so the less income generated overall. Citizens are therefore one of the most important resources in the game, providing you with income, which allows you to commission ships, officers, stations, and research, while also providing you a recruitment pool to assign to your ships and stations throughout the system. Once a colony is established, citizens must pass through its orbital station, which is where you'll then be able to divert citizen manpower to other stations and crew positions across the system. Citizens are therefore the backbone of your fleet and can eventually be promoted to become officers, opening up the ability to train them in specific expertise, which will enhance the statistics and capabilities of the ship these officers are assigned to. When it comes to other important resources, the main two you'll be procuring are fuel and ore. These resources are mined from asteroids and can be delivered to refineries to increase their yield or transported back to your shipyards, stations, and depots to be used for energy, construction, or conversion to other important consumable resources, such as supplies, food, and munitions. These fleet-based resources are known as the ship's sub-economy. As you would expect, food sustains your ship's crew and is especially important for ships on long missions in deep space. The maps in Falling Frontier are huge. Should your crew begin to run low on food or fuel, they'll eventually starve, turning your ship into a tomb.
This is no mine. It's a tomb.
Keeping your ships out too long and away from ports can be deadly and may force you to risk sending supply ships to resupply them in deep space to prevent losing them altogether. Munitions are pretty self-explanatory and are consumed with every weapon's fire or special ability, such as missiles and countermeasures. Run out of munitions and lose the ability to defend yourself. Certain abilities and weapons consume higher amounts of munitions, so it'll be up to you to build ships and compositions that complement each other, giving you a well-rounded fleet. Missiles, for example, consume high amounts of munitions but deal large amounts of AoE damage if you can land a successful hit. Fuel, on the other hand, is only consumed when ships use their jump drive to travel faster than light, so plan your routes wisely and make sure you bring supply ships for those extra long missions. You'll be aiming to use your jump drives as little as possible too, as with every jump you increase the chance of being detected by the enemy sensors. With a healthy cooldown associated with FTL travel, you'll need to be careful about where and when you make those jumps. Of course, you can travel everywhere at sublight speeds indefinitely, but with maps estimated at taking hours to traverse without a jump drive, you'll be waiting a long time. As previously covered in economics, the spaceports or orbital stations are the linchpin of any logistical chain where resources can be deposited and distributed via supply and cargo ships. Cargo ships are automatically produced in line with supply orders or refill thresholds. When you set the refill threshold of a station, cargo ships will be automatically produced and sent to supply that station with its required resources, keeping them sufficiently stocked and operational. Supply ships, on the other hand, are manually constructed and filled with supplies, which you can send on specific missions to resupply ships and stations with food, fuel, and munitions outside of your automated logistical chain. As the game progresses, you'll likely want to start stationing supply depots and way stations all over the system, with your logistical chain of cargo and supply ships increasing in size along with it. This ultimately spreads you thinner and thinner, and you'll likely reach a point in the game where sustaining certain sized fleet becomes more trouble than it's worth. You'll need to carefully weigh up expansion versus logistical risk the longer your game runs, potentially opening yourself up to ambush and attack, which can quickly cause your navy to grind to a halt if you're not careful. Defeat in Falling Frontier will likely be due to death by 1,000 cuts, as opposed to an unstoppable late game unit deathball amassed by your opponent. I think Todd wants you to routinely hit supply lines, transports, and mining barges, stretching your opponent thin with guerrilla-style tactics before dealing a crippling blow. This much has been said when it comes to battles in Falling Frontier, which will most likely take place as multiple, smaller tactical skirmishes across vast maps as opposed to two huge armies clashing in one decisive battle. Logistics is one of those exciting aspects of the game that I hope will feel really satisfying when you start to get it right, and equally soul-destroying when it all goes wrong. Risk versus reward, a large part of what Falling Frontier promises to be. Intelligence plays a large role in Falling Frontier, with probes providing a unique scouting and map control mechanic. Every spaceport you construct will start with 3 probes. These probes can be sent anywhere within a certain distance of the space station's line of sight or the probe's range, which can be improved via research. Once they reach their destination, they can be set to establish a passive scan or perform an active scan, with information being relayed back to you, providing intelligence on nearby celestial bodies, structures, ships, or wrecks. This information is then added to your UI for review with varying degrees of accuracy. The closer the probe is to the scanned anomaly, the more accurate the information presented. This can be a double-edged sword though, because the closer your probe gets to an enemy ship, the higher the chance your probe will be discovered and destroyed, resulting in a total blackout. You'll receive no information as to how or why the probe failed, since once your probe is deployed in Falling Frontier, there's no guarantee it will even succeed and may simply fail due to technical malfunction. If this happens, your best option is to probably send another probe and hope for the best, or risk sending a ship to investigate. Larger anomalies may need further investigation, for example, where fleets may provide one large blip or dampened signatures projecting a smaller one. Another cool element in the way information is presented to you is the Operations tab. Some intelligence collected by your probes is relayed in the Operations tab, prompting you to investigate interesting anomalies, research useful technology, or warn you of encroaching or nearby enemies, with a suggested course of action known as an operation. These are sort of like mini objectives suggested to you throughout the game as a direct result of your intelligence gathering or actions taken by you or the enemy AI. It seems like a cool, immersive way to help you manage everything happening in a given game, where I imagine it becomes very easy for the player to lose sight of certain tasks throughout any given match. These operations are also entirely optional, and you'll be able to disable specific types of operations or remove available operations at any time, which I know I'll be thankful for personally. There's no official release date as of yet, and while estimate release dates have been given in the past, the game's early access release has been set back multiple times in favor of releasing a more complete game, and more recently, a partnership with the publisher Hooded Horse and the acquisition of a new team member, allowing Todd to rework and improve the standard of visual elements of the game. I've been following this game for a few years now. I'm eagerly anticipating first early access release, which will involve a single act from the campaign, with skirmish modes and things like scenario editor being added further down the line. Falling Frontier has a lot going for it. There is a huge amount of potential with this game. Todd Darcy seems like a very focused and centered developer and very confident in his product, which is always a great sign. I'll be playing this game live on stream, and you can expect to see more Falling Frontier content on the channel here in the future as well. So if you liked the video, if you enjoyed it, you got something out of it, please hit the like button, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel so you get notified of future content drops. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you beautiful meatbags in the next one.